This is Wurps and welcome. I have 400 plus hours in this game, and I wanted to make a tier list for the danger of the monsters based on that level of experience, so people have an understanding of kind of how dangerous these are, even to someone who knows almost everything about them. So this isn't just like things that might be a skill issue. This is things that will objectively just kill you no matter what you do. So we're going to start off with the Coilhead. He gets his own tier. There will not be anyone else up here. In fact, let's just rename this Coilhead. You can't survive sometimes. They will just spawn, wander up behind you, and kill you. Sometimes you can react, but that's only if the pitter-patter of their little footsteps happens within human reaction time, which isn't a guarantee. These guys will just kill you. And even if you do notice them, you're still not having a fun time. You're effectively dead because you have to watch the Coilhead forever unless you can seal it in a door. So these are easily the most unfair monsters in the game. There's almost nothing you can do about them. You can seal them indoors, but that's only if you have a very coordinated team and you are on a facility map. If you're on a mansion, they might as well go up a tier. I think I'll put giants at A. Giants are annoying and invincible, but there are a few things you can do to stop them. Namely, have someone run and bait them away to somewhere that doesn't matter and then teleport them back. You can use a radar booster and its flash functionality to effectively have a circle of protection around whoever's carrying it, as the giants physically cannot kill anyone in range of a radar booster, provided the terminal guy flashes it. So these guys are counterable, but still annoying sometimes, just because they're giants. Earth Leviathan, I might move this, but I don't actually die to these very much. They're pretty simple. They're a big circle that follows you, and they don't have much to it. They have a chance to attack constantly if they're overlapping you enough, where they will just teleport on top of you and erupt. The eruption will have a random timer, and sometimes you can survive, and sometimes there's nothing you can do, but it's pretty easy to avoid it. You can just drop a few items and run, and it won't get you. So I don't think these are actually that dangerous. They're annoying in conjunction with other enemies that might make it so you want to slow down, such as dogs. But alone, they're not that bad. I just don't die to these very much. We'll put the loot bug in D. These are actually helpful sometimes. The loot bugs will just gather stuff in an area, and if you crack them open like a little piggy bank, you can take all his stuff. And these are pretty uncommon on the higher tier maps, but if they spawn, they usually have really fat stacks of loot, and that's pretty nice. They only take like 2 hits as of late to kill. I thought it was 3 originally, but it's 2 now. So these are very, very simple to kill. You can kill them without taking damage. They will aggro and attack you if you get too close under normal circumstances, but they're pretty easy to avoid for the most part. So I don't think these are very bad. Slimes, yeah, they're kind of just a nuisance. They will get in the way. They're more dangerous combined with other things, like most things. But slimes, you can seal them behind regular doors. Like you can lead them into a dead end and just close a regular door on it and deal with it. So slimes are counterable in that sense, so they're not that hard. Let's see. Okay, these spore lizards are like a tier below, but we'll just put them there. Nutcrackers, I will put on S. Nutcrackers are not quite as deadly as a Coilhead, because Coilheads are unfair, but Nutcrackers, like the Song of the Siren, if I hear a Nutcracker, I will be running at it with a shovel, so my chances of dying are more than if not. So these are killable if you use some kiting strategies, but things can go wrong. And sometimes the Nutcracker likes to rotate its torso 180 degrees, pretend you aren't there, run at you, and Nutcracker you. So that can be unpleasant. They act very strange sometimes, but you need the shotgun. So if you hear one, you're probably going to go at it, and you might live. So these guys are definitely up there. Once you have a shotgun, they're trivial to kill. But yeah, these guys are also more dangerous in groups, which they can often spawn on Rend, which has a very high chance to spawn them. So these guys are a blessing and a curse to the state of the game. Their shotgun is very nice though, so yeah, definitely go for that. Thinking of where I want to put the Bracken. Is he as strong as a Nutcracker? Yes. Honestly, the Bracken, he can kill anyone, because it doesn't take much for a Bracken to sneak up behind someone. Brackens just know where everybody is. They know where everybody's looking, and they have AI that will make them stand in the perfect position to either ambush them or wait until they walk away and strike when they least expect it. So these guys, they're very, very strong. Yes, you can kill them with the shotgun, and you can occasionally cheese them on the railing of the main staircase on mansion maps, and they can get stuck below the stairs if you angle it right. So there are a few ways to deal with them, mostly with the shotgun. So if you don't have a shotgun, they're kind of tough to deal with. But yeah, Brackens are consistently threatening. You can also trap them using the terminal guy. And if you lock them in a room, no more Brackens can spawn, but it's pretty hard to set this up. You have to have a lot of coordination, and you have to like teleport your teammate out of a dead end before the Bracken gets him, and then seal the door. So it's possible, but these guys are just consistently threatening. So we're going to put him in S. Jester. Let's put him in A. He's annoying, but not to the degree that these are, I would say. Jesters, yeah, this is a really tough one because they really do get in the way and make people totally evacuate the facility or the mansion, which is probably where you're seeing them more often. You can lock them in on facility maps, but you can't do anything to them on mansions. And even on facility maps, there's not always a dead end around them, and they will only follow for a short time. So these guys are consistently annoying. I'd say they're about the level of giants for annoying. The other two are kind of more dangerous consistently, though. However, a Jester will make it really hard to loot. So this is a tough one. Between S and A, I'm going to put it on A, though. I might shuffle this around because this is all relative. So we'll put dogs. We'll put them at A. Dogs, when combined with giants, are probably both S tier if they're in the same area. But on their own, dogs are kind of easy to deal with. I might even put them B. You know, I'm going to put dogs at B because you can avoid them and go around them. Really, dogs are most dangerous when you don't know they're there at all and you're just like sprinting into the fog or the darkness. So dogs can also be cheesed by closing the ship door and just smacking the door with a shovel until they all come to it because they hear the sound of the shovel smacking, right? And then you just take them all out. So dogs are actually very easy to cheese right now. I assume he'll nerf that at some point because it's very, very simple. You can also take them out in 1v1 confrontations if you keep smacking them like mid-slide and get them to go into a wall. That is a lot more dangerous, however, so I would mostly recommend the ship door. You can also bait them with like the ship pod. You just buy a walkie-talkie and they all get out of the way. But yeah, dogs, they are dangerous, but also avoidable. I think I'll put the spider on C. It does unreal damage. It doesn't one-shot you, but it does crazy damage. If you're even a bit injured already, it'll probably one-shot you. But they move very consistently in a measured pace, and by just modulating your backward sprint speed or circling around it while like tapping sprint, you can deal with them pretty easily. You can also tell where they are because of the webs that are everywhere. So these guys aren't that bad. And I think I'm going to put the masked on the same tier because it's kind of similar. These guys can ambush you, but they can be dealt with very similar to the spider. You just do a backwards orbital kiting pattern. You backwards sprint around them in a circle and hit them, and they can't turn fast enough to deal with you. So you can kind of just kill them for free. They're a little risky. They have like random sprint bursts they'll do. They can climb ladders. They can hide on the ship. So as long as you're aware of all those, they aren't that dangerous. But if you don't know any of those things, they're probably an A. But with everything we know, they're going to be a C. The girl, I'll put her in B. She's not that bad to deal with. She has a mechanic where you just don't look at her and she won't advance through the phases. She has the spawn behind you and breathe loudly at you phase where she won't attack. And then once she is stared at enough, now I think your teammates can accidentally, inadvertently stare at where she's just standing invisible, and that will trigger her next phases. So you can't feel that safe if you want to walk around the facility like that, because your teammates will trigger her on accident, I believe. This is just a theory. I haven't tested it, but I have had instances where the first time I've ever been aware of the little girl spawning on me, she has instantly attacked me, which shouldn't be possible with the way she is supposed to work, by her phases being triggered by looking at her or staring at her. What you can also do is whoever gets haunted can become the new terminal operator, because if you have the terminal in the right spot, turned around facing the front of the ship with all the monitors in the corner like I usually have it, as you can see in my other videos, then she actually can't spawn because she won't have any valid spawns. And this will effectively make you immune to the girl and just kind of lock her up and make it so other teammates don't have to deal with her. So whoever is haunted can just be the new terminal operator. However, the terminal operator will usually get haunted anyway due to how the insanity mechanic works, which is nice. If you want to further increase your chances as a terminal user to get haunted intentionally, you can start the round holding a scrap item worth 150 or more, such as a gold bar that rolls well or a very high roll cash register, and that will increase your chances of being haunted by giving you a flat boost to your insanity, which is a funny little thing the data miners found out. Now the Baboon Hawks, I'm actually going to put these D. Honestly, the introduction of the Baboon Hawks has led to less spawns of dogs and giants. So these have made the game easier overall. They're not very dangerous, but you just look at them and they get angry. You don't look at them and they stop being angry. There's also no mechanic about yelling at them or anything. I see people talk about that. It's just you're either looking at them and they feel threatened, or you're not and they walk away. But this can, I believe it can accelerate if there are multiple, because you will technically be looking at multiple. If there's a pack, they might decide to attack you pretty fast. They will just run at you and peck you for, I think, 8 seconds at a time before losing interest. So you just run for a bit and you kind of don't care about them. They can take items, but it's kind of uncommon unless somebody like dies out in front of the ship, does something else, and Baboon Hawk just happens to walk by and yoink your item. It's pretty unlikely you'll even see it. They like to take corpses as well, which is kind of funny. Now the circuit bees, I'm gonna put these D as well. If you know what you're doing with the hives and you aren't screwing around, you'll probably not die to these. They can take a few bites at you. They only do 10 damage, so you have to get stung quite a lot for them to kill you. But even when collecting beehives, as long as you're a little careful, you should be fine. Now the Snare Flea is a tough one, because you are either going to be in a state where he's very easy to deal with if you have anyone with a shovel, including yourself, even if you're alone, because you can pick up your own shovel if he pops on your head, or you're in a state where you don't, which means you're dead unless you're solo in the game, because they have a solo mechanic where they will let you live and just leave. So in a multiplayer game, they're kind of like between B and C. I'm going to put them C because they're not that dangerous. On higher tier maps, they don't spawn very often, so you won't even see these much. And on the mansion levels where people are mostly farming, like Rend, they will be very high on the ceiling and be unlikely to actually land on you when they jump down. On the facility, the ceiling is a lot lower, so they land on you faster, but these guys on the mansion are a little less threatening. So I'm just gonna put him in C. It's definitely a B or higher if you don't have anything, because you might not know where the exit door is. If they are close to an exit door, you can just bait them to go on your head and walk out the door, and they'll die. But yeah, the Snare Fleas are kind of a noob trap, because if you don't have a shovel and you're just running around, it's kind of an instant death. So they're dangerous, but also very simple to deal with. Now for the Thumper. So the Thumper, in the current state of the game, will spot you, be slowed to its minimum speed, and then begin accelerating towards you. Now, if you walk up and hit him while he's doing that, he will reset to his minimum speed. And if he hits you, he will also reset to his minimum speed. So you can very easily walk up and just smack combo them, and they're done. But if they do not die in this way, and they see someone and they run away from the Thumper, that Thumper will keep all of his speed and be extremely fast, making it tough for the next player who deals with it to kill it. So the Thumper almost will get a guaranteed hit on the player. However, once it does get that guaranteed hit, you will then be able to deal with it if you have a shovel, because its speed will reset. So they're kind of annoying in that sense. They're bugged. They're being reworked in the next update, from what I've seen, the update 47, which I have a video on the channel if you want to see that rework. And they will actually thump into the walls, being their namesake, and they will slow down, which is nice. So you can actually lead them into the walls. They'll bonk it, go like oof, and then they'll be slowed, and you can try to deal with them like that. You can also escape them on foot without them becoming the Flash. So it's like, it's a trade-off as well, because their minimum speed will be raised in the next update. The current state of them, they're very, very slow when you hit them for a brief period, so you can combo them super easy. But in the next one, you'll have to really, really backstep with precision in order to take them out without getting hit. So they'll be easier to escape on foot in the next patch, and they won't go to supersonic speeds, but they'll be a little bit more difficult to take out with a shovel if you're intentionally trying to hunt them. So that'll be a B tier. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more of my banger videos, here they are on the screen.